Hello ladies, gentlemen, anything in between. Welcome to another episode of Expert Reviews. Here we're on Westfield with a CS-52 LIS. Premium. I can't remember the nation, I'm a git, remind me in the comments. 1,300 hit points. Now that is the base hit point value, so it's not being benefited by field mods or anything here. We got vents, optics, and a gun rammer. Seems a fairly standard setup. Ammo spread is fairly normal, and by the looks of things, we got small consumables and a manual fire extinguisher. In 2023. Wow, that's almost a novelty at this point. Anyway, let's talk about the CS, shall we? Relevant factors on a map like Westfield. Gun depression, 7 degrees. And that is 7 degrees everywhere, even over the back of the vehicle, which is nice. Gun elevation, 17 degrees. Not bad, not exceptional, not like something like an S130 or something which goes way up. 380 meters of base view range, which is on the bad side of mediocre, I would say, for a tier A medium tank. I mean, I guess it's medium, but I mean, you always hope for more, right? That said, benefited by optics, and I would imagine a half-decent crew, as this is a premium tank. You can see his view range is pushing 445 here. I imagine that's the benefit of either BAA and Recon in combination with those vents and optics. Now, pushing out, let's take stock quickly. Let's just have an analysis of what's going on. We've got two mod ones and another CS-52 coming with him. We've also got Crossfire. Even 90s pushing up to the mid, most likely going to get a spot on this area by spotting over here and lighting here. We've also got Scorpion, Shark TVP, very deadly support Crossfire right there. Barask is back there as well. It's not really, in my position, an optimal place to go in a Barask, given the unreliability of the gun at distance. That said, what have we got to oppose us? Barask, M4A1, maybe, Pantera, T-34-3, Skoda. Now, what interests me immediately is we can always read into platoon play a certain amount. This IS-22 is platooned with this T-34-3, and the IS-22 has been spotted up there. Now, it's not always the case, but it's most often the case that platoons stick together. So it would be in my mind right now, okay, maybe this T-34-3 is up on this side of the map as well, because platoons don't tend to split up. Other than that, we've got very little information. Haven't seen the batch yet, haven't seen the SU, so at this point, not much we can read into. All we can do, just plow out here with a bit of ambition. Looks like the even 90s spotted the Borsig in the mid there. T-34-3 yet to be spotted. A couple of TDs lit and a Pantera. Okay, do we stop here? Do we stop here? Because the thing is about being spotted in this location, there's not so much a danger of TD fires. You can see the rendered distance circle blocking fire from this, which is a popular position for TDs like Scorpions, which is unspotted, and potentially an ISU as well. But if you are spotted here, you get +5 from this position, right? The fallback line for the mediums, so for the M4A1, for the enemy Barask, for the T-34-3 potentially, for the Skoda, anyone back there, you get spotted here. I'd be worried about crossfire. So at this point, what I would have considered doing, rather than looking for this shot, is potentially just going forward, making sure we have control of this position, because once I do, I can then use this land right here to get 3 shots into the crossfire here. That said, I doubt this is going to be a massive, problematic shot to take. You just take it and move. 380, that's nice. Let's talk about gun stats, and we're not getting lit here. That's not, oh, there we go. Are we going to have any crossfire? And there's the range line I was saying about using earlier. You were closer to it than I thought, actually, in fairness. Alright, so, we've got a 105mm gun, 6.25 rounds per minute, giving you 100% crew DPM of 2086. You got 208mm of standard pen, 252 with premium, but our scout wide, good to know. Ping it for your team. You're not doing anything else, ping it on the map. You're typing in chat. I want to see, hey, there's a Brask over here. Beautiful. Fantastic. Okay. So yeah, 252 with premium up, 530 with HE, 420 alpha damage with those HE shells, and you can see it's only carrying 2 of them because they're not that great. But yeah, 20 alpha and then 0.36 accuracy with a 2.3 second aim time. The gun's okay, it feels decent, it feels moderately punchy, you know, same alpha damage as a Object 140, but tier 8, it's alright. I found this a pleasant gun. Let's talk about the armor as well. The mod 1 being very bold there, but bounces 1, good to know. And I also like the fact that we're not exposing too far forward here. We know we've got the M4A1, we know we got the Skoda. The one good thing about this mod 1's position is this Brask wanting to push back means he's surely exposing, or more likely to be exposed to, the Brask and CS. My question is, what in the metric hell has happened to the Shark TVP and the Scorpion that were over there? Did the Batcher get involved? No, the Batcher's here. How the hell did these guys die so severely? Was it just a loss of that? I'll be interested to look back in the replay and find out more about that. But I'm hoping that the Brask takes a bit of crossfire, as indeed he is. Ooh, bold. And you do get the connection. Okay, that's right. If you had not got the connection there, it would have been a very poor play. Trading health for not much. And now this flank poses a lot of difficulties. Brask, though, has yellowed down straight into the center and got himself killed. I mean, that's a gift on a platter. Now, we've got a horsepower per ton here of 19.69. Nice. Top speed of 50 and a reverse speed of 20. Worth noting the general mobility of this thing as well. Far aside from the top speed and the 720 horsepower engine, we got a transverse speed on the hull of 40. So that's our average. Ooh, very nice. And the turret traverses at 45. This feels like a very medium tank, which is thoroughly pleasant indeed. Well, the M4A1's got 200mm of pen, and that becomes relevant in a situation like we were aiming at in there, where we could see turret to turret. Because let's just quickly go through the armor profile of the CS-52, shall we? Because it might become relevant as this game evolves. Now, frontal hull, as I said, we got 80, 75, 45 in terms of armor. Now, the 80mm is on the frontal upper plate, giving you an effective of about 150 when you're flat onto it. Lower plate is actually 85, but it is at a lesser angle, giving you an effective value of about 130. Now, the turret face can range anywhere from sort of 215 to upwards of 240. That's not going to bounce tier 9s and 10s, but tier 8s and below certainly will have trouble with it. It does have two moderately prominent cupolas, which will be concealed when you use your gun depression, right? So you want to use as much gun depression in this tank as you can when you're poking over range lines, but these are about 100mm, so if someone connects with these, no matter what tier they are going to be doing damage. One other thing that's worth noting, actually, let's go full barrel here. 35mm turret roof, so that's a 3 overmatch for 110mm guns? 115. Am I bad? No, 115 plus millimeter guns. Engine deck is 20. So that is a 3 overmatch for basically everything in this game. But one thing that we should be aware of as well is the CS-52 has a rather unique weak spot that's not tangible visually. Or not visible visibly. And it's about here. It's a very similar weak spot to one that you might find on something like an FE215B or something like that. That side weak spot under the turret. Let me get up the model for you, and I can show you exactly what I mean, because it's very hard to demo where it is without the actual model. So, we're looking visually. Occasionally, you might have a CS-52 who decides he's going to sideswipe with his 75mm of armor. And if he does it right, assuming we're going CS versus CS, right? So he's like at this angle, you're going to have a tough time. Like, look at that. You're going to get ricochets if you shoot up the side. And yet his gun is on you. You could pen there, but it's a slim shot. Of course, you got the option of the cupola, but a better shot, in my opinion, is this. How magical, right? That is a fairly large weak spot. I'd argue that's easier to hit than the cupola, right? It's probably easier to hit than the sliver of frontal armor that you've got here. That is viable. That is very, very viable as a weak spot. You can see how easy it is, and it's about 120mm. And this is on both sides of the vehicle. So when this thing sideswipes, if it's sideswiping around a corner, let's look at what this looks like visually. This is why I say it's a hard shot, because visually it doesn't look any different. But the weak spot is about... Where's it gone? There. There. It's worth a go, right? Hang on. Yeah, look at that. Right under the tongue. It's hard to get an idea visually, as I say, where it is, but right there, right under, sort of, if you go under the cupola when it's sideswiping and shoot the side under the cupola, you'll connect with this weak spot. So, yeah. Knowledge! Right, let's move on and see what we get up to in Westfield. Gonna connect this? Very nice, 0.36 accuracy, not betraying his trust there. Now, where's the Skoda? Where's the ISU-152? These would all be questions I'd be asking right now. Now, I'd expect to be able to bounce this M4A1 if he's firing standard ammo. I think he's got 200mm of pen with standard APCR. Believe it or not, M4A1, one of the best moneymakers in the game if you're only firing standard ammo. Skoda's there, communicate that to your team if you can. What else? Yeah, M4A1, as I say, fantastic economy if you're only firing standard ammo. It's one of the best money-making tanks in the game, purely from an economy standpoint, though, if I'm honest, the tank itself isn't that good. As a result, nowhere near as good a moneymaker as something like a T26E5, which is the best moneymaker in the entire game. Now, Westfield. Now, this is where I'd be making a conscious effort to communicate to particularly to my Even 90. And Even 90 likes the G-Saw. We got premium shells loaded. Oh, now let me tell you, when you fired that, I could tell it was gonna miss. Now, there's a rather unique property. Oh, I'll say unique. It's not particularly unique. There's a rather odd property about the CS-52 that is not very common. A lot of tanks have the same shell travel time on HE and AP, and it's only their premium shells that differ in shell travel time. Or, to make that more accurate, a lot of tanks will have the same shell travel time on two shell types, and then one will be different. It will be faster or it will be slower. CS-52, be all over the place. AP shells, 980 meters per second. APCR shells, 1,569. And when I say that's good, I really mean it. The premium shells of the CS are absolutely astounding. They're some of the fastest shells in the entire game. Then you go to HE, and you got 822. It's basically half the speed. Right? So it's one thing that's worth noting. The disparity between shell travel speed is particularly prominent in this tank when you are engaging at distance. So worth noting. Are we going to get a second shot here? G-Saw side looking very handsome. 35mm of sidearm he's shooting out there, so guaranteed pen, but 0.36 accuracy not holding up. Worth a go. Not connecting. Yeah, I tried to communicate to my team if I could where the Skoda was, but at this point, ooh. Healthy Viper. Well, I was going to... That's unlucky, I would say. Yeah, I would be trying to communicate to my team any information that I have here. Now, my question at this point is, why is the even 90 still out that way? Can we see value in the even 90's position at this point? In my opinion, I don't know that I can. Because yes, while you deny that land to the enemy team, I think you could basically achieve more by coming and being here, right? Because from this location, you can, or on even this bush, you can spot there, and you can spot the mid. I just don't like the fact that he's so close to the edge of the map and so far away from his network of support right now. Maybe it'll work. Who can tell? But we do have optics, we do have vents. Camera rating on the CS-52 with 100% crew is what, 15.7? While stationary, 20.3 stationary after firing. On the move, you got 11.8 while not firing, and then 2.5 while moving and firing. So, while this isn't an incredibly stealthy tank, it's gonna have a better camera rating than something like an IS-22 or something like that. So, I do like moving up here. You've still got a bit of health. You can take a hit from the G-Saw, you can take a hit from the IS-22. So certainly worth an exploratory probe here. You can learn a lot with your sixth sense in this situation. It might even be worth just poking and putting a shot into those bushes. Not even just because, oh, I might hit the ISU, but your sixth sense going off tells you a great deal, right, in that situation. If you poke up here, basically the only place that you're going to be spotted from is these bushes up here, which tells you if they're still occupied. And 7 degrees of gun depression on that range line is going to do you a lot of favours. Even 90's moving up, and it looks like you've noticed that, so you want to get forward and make sure that this guy doesn't die for no reason. You've got a mod 1 coming up behind you, pushing forward, and now at this point, you commit. This land right here, where you are right now, is pretty much the worst way you can support that even 90. Because there is a distinct possibility of presence in this location, right? And when you're looking at a hill, and you think enemies are going to be on top of that hill, the further you are under that hill, the further the enemy the more the enemy have to work and expose in order to shoot you, because of gun depression, right? And that's essentially the principle that's in play here. Yes, it is the right play to go forward and see if you can take advantage of this ELC and help him out. But you do not want to be doing it from this position so far away from cover. If something appears on the top here, it's gonna get a shot into you. Whereas if you push up and you're under it, you can spot it and it won't be able to shoot you without fully committing. So I don't like stopping in the open land here. When you're supporting from this position, you're either going to be doing it from back in this foliage, or you're going to be going all the way. You can't really justify staying in the middle of the land here, because it takes away power because of how distant you are from decent positioning. So I would hope to be seeing you go a little bit further forward here, just so that you're, as I say, up against that ridge line, up under that hill, so that if you do spot anyone on top of it, they have remarkably few options, and Skoda gets lit. That's an unfortunate miss, and even 90 does get spotted, gets rammed to death in the end. Probably not actually the best play from the Skoda, because it slowed him down. And there you see, did you see the swiftness of that connection? I'm actually going to play that again, because we've seen a few shots in this battle, right? We've seen a few shots in this battle so far. I want you to appreciate just how fast this shell is. 1,569 shell travel time. And this shot would not connect with AP. It would bounce off the gun mantlet. That is an incredibly fast shell. Now, 6.25 amps per minute. Guy stops, which I find very odd. But now, here's where you want to be. This is where I would have liked to see you be earlier when supporting that ELC. Looks like the mod 1's going low. So it might be worth... Ooh. A bit ambitious there. Bit ambitious. Now, where's this G-Saw? How much... Oh, God. I've minimized the game. How much health? G-Saw was on, like, 666. Oh, dear Lord. Health last time we saw him. We still got RT in play, but so do they. That RT is an SU-14-2. He cannot have got that far on this map, even with the limited time that we have had. Now, oh, let's examine that. Now, you couldn't know this in-game, but I'm curious. That RT shooting at Mod 1 does tell us one thing, right? Oh, look at that. Well, Mod 1 should know where that RT is now, right? The Mod 1 should have that information. Will he share that information in chat? This is a situation where it's the antithesis of what I always say when I'm commenting on replays. Oh, a bit of information that you have that your team doesn't have. Share it. Right? We are now in the position we wouldn't have this information if the Mod 1 says, hey, this RT is located here. It's going to help us. It's going to help our gameplay. What I'm thinking now is with the Mod 1 in this secure height position, it might well be viable to put cap pressure up, right? If you've got the Mod 1 in this secure position above, ready to spot here, ready to shoot the SU-14-2, you can potentially get behind this house in the cap and actually pressure. The one thing I'd be worried about is the IS-2 coming from the mid and disrupting that play, but it might be worth going for. Alright. IS-2-2's up again. Now, this is actually an okay engagement. You would expect to be able to bounce an IS-2 at this point. We know the RT's just fired, so we're fairly safe being held down here. Let's see. Nice connection and nice bounce. IS-2 is firing APCR though, so worth keeping in mind that we may not bounce as reliably. Okay, G-Source fired 3, G-Source fired 4. He is completely unloaded. You secure this kill. You absolutely secure this kill. Yes, you might take a shot on the side from the IS-2. At this point, if you can just reduce the numbers shooting back at you, you do not let that G-Saw reload in this situation. He's just unloaded his entire clip. He needs to pay for it with his tank. It is tactically unconscionable to leave that guy alive in the game. Good. Good play, good decision making. That's what you use hit points for. RT gets lit. Mod 1 puts one shot in. RT's going to reload in 3, 2, 1. And RT reloads. God damn. Okay, well, we know where the RT is. And now with our optics, certainly we're going to be able to outspot a scum bus. So that certainly should be our next call here. Now, the Scorpion seems to be on full health and remarkably not keen to move at all. And there we go, a side of a scum bus. Oh wow, I'm surprised actually that he spotted you there. Relatively surprised, but hell, maybe a scum bus with optics. Or a very observant bus driver. Alright, so the approach. We've got to assume the ISU is still on the high ground somewhere. ISU got one kill. We know he's not AFK. Network and support is what we want to think about now. How are we most likely to win this game? Well, employing the work of the RT and the Scorpion. So what I would want to do is plow all the way here and start poking up here. Right? Because if this guy attacks me here, I can fall back into this position, get supportive fire of my Scorpion. Right? At this point, I want to be moving back towards my team, trying to establish networks of support, trying to create multiple possibilities of multi-level engagements. Now, I don't mind poking up in this position, trying to get a bit of information. Like, we could be skirting the hill a bit higher, because on average, we can take one hit from the IS-2. So, worth noting. Let's see. I like the positioning. The positioning is good. And I think... Yay! I love it when people do exactly what I say. Yay. Mainly because I'm into bondage. Giggity. Anyway, are we going to do spotting checks? 6 APCR shells left. Do you load a HE shell with intuition, fire it into the distance, and see if your sixth sense goes off? Maybe not from that position, maybe you do it up here. But then again, ooh, well, there's some information. Scorpion pounds are hitting. Artie should be able to kill him. ISU mists. Mists? He missed. Oh, God. Artie should be able to... Yeah. Oh, well, that's a Scorpion. Okay. Alright, and now High Ground. High Ground is now accessible. You use the little winch line out here, and you plow up like this. Try and get above the IS-22. Try and surround him. Looks like the Scorpion's moving up. At this point, what's your game-winning scenario? A proxy spot around a house. If you get into close quarters, like you're on the opposite side of a house, and you have Artie, essentially you win. Right? Because all you need to do is just kite him around that house until the Artie kills him. Even worse when you have a Scorpion, from the IS-22's point of view, right? When you have a Scorpion going potentially out this way. At this point, it's just information. Because with the benefit of numbers, with the benefit of Artie, if you find out where he is, it's game one, right? You can just work your way in slowly, or you can just keep him spotted at distance and let the Artie work him down. Now, I wouldn't be poking on this side. I'd be investing all my eggs in the basket, going out wide, trying to claim position, because there's only 3 minutes left at this point. We don't want to be wasting time here, sort of skirting around, seeing if we can occasionally get a spot. We want to be advancing position. So definitely going up here is my my play right here. I don't like this. It just risks... I mean, the IS-22 can double shot. So it's certainly a risk moving over this land when you know he was last spotted in that town engagement. And there's no need to risk at this point. You're actually not a one-shot, Alex. You're a one-shot if he double shots, but on average, he's going to hit you for 300 alpha damage, so more likely than not to survive it. But this is good. In light of the fact that we're not taking the high ground, which I would have liked to see, next best thing is establishing this multi-level engagement between him and the Scorpion. Gonna skirt along this ridge, hopefully a bit higher, to try and spot from the town, and if the IS-22 does get spotted or does attack you, you know that if he comes for you, the Scorpion's got fire as well as the Artie. So, it's nice positioning. Let's see. As time presses in here, it's becoming more and more likely that you may have to end this with cap pressure. Let us see. Scorpion's moving on that flank. You want to be moving as well. You want to be kind of mirroring him out wide. Now, this Scorpion should be playing more aggressively. Quite honestly, the Scorpion should be able to just 1v1 him at this point. Assuming he doesn't get ridiculously unlucky, but looks like the Scorpion's obsessed with the fact that because he has a triangle above his name, it means he's very defensive and can't take any hits, which is fundamentally incorrect. Nice little look for where you were going to position there. Immediately recognizing the disadvantage of the engagement that you were just being presented with, and prioritizing positioning, prioritizing driving, and cover. Now, the Scorpion's going to deal the damage here, right? IS-22 should take a hit from the Scorpion, and then you can work your way up here. Now, that's my thoughts. Or, if you want to win, you can cap pressure as well at this point. You have so many options for winning here. The Scorpion does put a hit in. And looks like we are going to cap pressure just to ensure it. Should take a hit here. Oh, and the IS-22, in fairness to him, did go for the double shot. Bounces one. Half his clip. As in half of two. One. Anyhow, you gotta respect that. It was a nice play from the CS-52. Or was it? Because now he should die to the Scorpion in 3, 2, 1. What the hell is that Scorpion's reload? Banana. Get a gun rammer. Okay, yeah, this should be a certain win, because even if he comes down to inching out the cap... Ooh! Well, that's nice, isn't it? There's a little... I don't know if you can actually see that, or whether it's blocked by this foliage. But that's interesting. I like the aim here. I've never seen sort of that positioning used in the cap. You might well get a shot on the CS-52 as he crosses here. I hope you do, because it'd be very nice. Cap points steadily accumulating. I cannot possibly see a way in which this game gets lost. Unless... Ooh, and you know he's just fired at the Scorpion. Unless... I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Cool. 5,298 damage. That is a schmexy game. Very smexy game indeed. Oh, and a pleasure to watch. So thank you very much for sending it in. A couple of tactical, in my opinion, missteps, but for the most part, decently solid. Nothing that I could point to and say, oh, that's really egregious or anything like that. Thoroughly enjoyable game and a great result. So, thank you very much for sending it in. If you'd like to see your replay looked at in this style, you can send it to replays.wallst@yahoo.co.uk and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it. If you want to see more commentary from me, you can check out the playlist on the outro screen. Until next time, farewell.
You better never ever shoot versus the man, cause that's a jerk of his hand, hence you're a permanent ban, yep. Like in a roleplay game, you wield a dagger but get smashed from half a globe away. But don't worry mate, he's sorry you could have known though, it's all the same story, you better not berate him. He is living in the country next to the US with oil fields.